Hey guys, Mark McDonnell from Cre8tiveMarks University.com here again. This is a new YouTube video. Just wanted to say thanks for all the kind comments. The reason why this setup now is a little bit different than our previous 7 videos is we're in the process, we just finished shooting volume 5 and we're in the middle of shooting volume 6, so don't forget to check out the website at Cre8tiveMarksUniversity.com. And this shout out goes to John Bread, who said he was interested in seeing how to draw heavyset people. So here we go. This one's for John. So yeah, I mean, there are things that innately happen when someone has extra adipose tissue, okay, which means fat. So a lot of the joints or bony landmarks you don't necessarily get a chance to show, okay? So one way to show volume and still get a sense of weight is overlap. So one of those tricks is if there's a piece that's sitting really in front, you kind of subjugate the other things to sit behind so that you have the option of showing a shadow overlapping those things, but also it fits on top of the other thing that allows you to make it feel like it sits on top, if that makes sense. So things that happen are you kind of lose the neck a little bit. Your cheeks, instead of just drawing a normal structural head or something of that sort, your cheeks take over, your eyes sometimes look a little bit smaller, and your jawline kind of disappears so that you're really kind of just trying to show how the folds, right, wrap around, right? So I'll do someone with clothing as well. So I might sneak in the pelvis here where this fits on top so you could kind of see. This is very graphic. I wouldn't draw like that, but that's where the core would be because it's the down plane. It goes down, around, and then down, around, and down. So that I could get a little bit of bony mass. And I think one of the tricks is probably to make sure that where the joint changes, there's either that overlap they're talking about, or at least some hint as to if this piece starts to wrap down and sit on top of the other piece. You could make a hard cast shadow and then walk it off. That you could see how that piece literally, physically sits on top of the other one. Still a shin in there, but you're starting to get that overlap. This is the muscle system and the... So you can see how the kneecap, and now not just the muscle, right, which would shoot up across, it's more like bloated or heavy set. So I think working on like Lilo and Stitch and those kind of shows help me figure some of this out. So if we just kind of, let's get a little. So shape design plays a lot in this, but I'm just going to kind of give you a big shape, understand the pelvis, and probably needs to be even larger to support the weight here. So you could see anatomically, I might break it down like this, where I still have the idea of a rib cage, but obviously it's buried in tissue. This is a connector muscle. There's a center line. You can see the sacrum because it's bony, but then all this tissue would kind of pull out and be a little bit more supportive, I should say, because it still needs to feel realistic regardless if it's cartoony or not. So what if I just pull this? Let's put it forward. So the joints are still there, right? So I just, actually in volume 5 of Cre8tiveMarksUniversity.com, I went over kind of volume indicators and how to use that to your advantage, showing simple volumes and stuff. So I might cast a shadow here for the elbow and just place things as if they're kind of like sitting on top. You would move different, so it's helpful to kind of act that out sometimes. You could have the sausage neck. You have these little franks back here. And the ears I would even beef up a little bit. Be more about the cheeks. Maybe the nose turns up or something like that. I mean, obviously each person's an individual, so you just have to be careful and respectful, I think. But yeah, I mean, I made a little squash and stretch there. You can see where these things fit inside each other. That's important. But they're not as squared off. I mean, stylistically, you could get an angle in there, but they're really kind of rounder shapes, right? So you can see all this. Just kind of indicate all that. It's probably going to wrinkle back here even as this piece wraps around the other piece. So that kind of stuff is really helpful. You're not seeing the perfect divisions. 7th cervical vertebrae. Let me just put this hand in here so I don't look like I don't know what I'm talking about. A lot of fat folds. So I do look at babies a lot. I like creature design, right? And how to make multiple designs fit together in a set, which is another video set that I put together on Cre8tiveMarksUniversity.com. But, you know, I love Lord of the Rings. I love those trolls. And I mean, how do you do that? Well, another thing is you could easily take a character or a design where you have your divisions, your rib cage, midsection, now your pelvis, the joint division, right? And if I took that head and I actually shrunk the head, it would make the rest of the body feel bigger. So I think one thing that's really important is to understand proportions and what to add and what to take away. So again, this could be a big football guy, but as soon as I put this chest line, I could put this belly on here and tuck it back, and now all of a sudden he gets a little bit bigger. Instead of pulling the waistline in like that, where it looks like a big shirt, I could actually pull the legs out, right? And make them even thicker and kind of rub together in the middle, where you need talc powder or talcum powder or one of those things because of the rubbing, the friction. And so I just need to make sure that some of the things up here look smaller to make the other things look bigger. So this might be pushed too much, but that's more character designy than the other one. But at least you could kind of see how I would still use anatomy, or at least some form of anatomy, to push the shapes and make them feel like they're still solid even though they have a lot of tissue around them. So I hope that helps. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video, and keep commenting below, and we'll continue to reply to your requests in upcoming videos. And a big thanks to John for his request for this video on drawing heavyset people. Also check out the description below for links to other videos you might be interested in, as well as to where you can check out our new lesson packages. Thanks again for all your support and for sharing these videos. We really do appreciate it. See you next week in another quick video here on YouTube.